Good morning. Today we are starting the new lesson. So that is women in and sports. In this chapter, we will study about the participation of women in sports in India. Special consideration: MENARCH, menstrual dysfunctions, pregnancy, and menopause. We will discuss about female athlete triad, anemia, osteoporosis, and amenorrhea. We will discuss about the psychological aspect of women athlete, sociological aspect of sports participation of women. So the starting we are topic with the participation of women in India. Women and sports. So world structure, when we will see about the participation of women, already the women on all over the world, the participation of women started so late. Women participation first time in 1900 Olympic, in which 22 women participated. Then in 1904, 6 women participated in 1904 Olympic, and after 100th year in 2000 Sydney Olympic, 4,609 women had participated. So this is the number which is, we can say, the good number of participation. In 2008 Beijing Olympic, 4,637 women participated. In Indian structure, if you will see Indian women participation, in 2000 Karna Malleswari was the first woman who won bronze medal in weightlifting in Sydney Olympic from India. And in 1984, performance of PT Usha was very good. The outstanding performance she has given in Olympic in athletics, 400-meter hurdle race. Then in 2012 London Olympic, Saina Nehwal and MC Mary Kom got bronze medal. In 2016 Rio Olympic, Sakshi Malik won bronze medal. PV Sandhu won silver medal, whereas Deepa Karmakar opened new dimension in gymnastics. Over the past several decades, the participation of women in sports field has increased tremendously. If we see about the participation of women in sports, then it is gradually increased. In India also, there were so many causes that women in India have not participated in sports activities. Women in India are still not able to take stand for themselves. Men have an upper hand in all sphere of life. The situation in Western countries is better, but still women are facing very similar problem as in India in whole world. Actually, the women are victims of gender inequality. This was the main reason that the less participation of women in sports from whole world we see. The time changed. As the time has changed, the situations are improving in India as well as other countries also. The number of participation of women in sports is increasing year by year. A number of sports women have been defying a socio-psychological hurdle. Socio-psychological hurdle means that is in society, in the mind of the people, that about the women and their participation in sports, that hurdle is gradually being removed. In India, various sports women are there, various women athletes are there now these days, and they are getting a lot of media coverage also. Still, we see then in India also that various sports person, that either they are men or women, they were not recognized since last so many years, especially since last before the last decades. If we see before 2000 or before 2010, the media coverage and the participation of women was very less. And after 2000 and 2010, gradually the women participation of women in sports activities from the India also increases. That we have discussed about the 2000 Olympic, 2012 Olympic, where Mary Kom and Saina Nehwal in badminton. In 1984, PT Usha, where only the women participated in 400-meter hurdle race. Then we have various sports women are there participated in sports activities from the India, who represented India at the international level. So some of the names we can see here: Deepika Kumari and Chakravarti Suro, Akri, MC Mary Kom, boxing, Saina Nehwal, badminton, Krishna Punia, athletics, Geeta Fogart, wrestling, Ankita Das, table tennis, Rashmi Chakravarti and Sania Mirza, lawn tennis, and Nagambam Sonia Chanu, weightlifting. Then some more we can see here. Now we have lot of women athletes from the India. These are the famous athletes we are just discussing here. In India now these days, various sports athletes, women sports athletes are there. Rahi Sarnowat and Hina Sidhu, shooting. Garima Chaudhary, judo. Deepika Kumari, archery. Krishna Punia, Seema until athletics. Anju Bobby George, long jump. Hima Das, athletic. That Hima Das has the greatest performance. She has broken the record in 400-meter sprint and in 2018 Asian Games. Hima Das, 2018 Asian Games, she completed 400-meter sprint in 50.79 seconds. That is very good record. And she was just 20-year-old that time. So the participation of women from the India is gradually increasing, as we have discussed, and the women are facing the main problem of that is gender inequality. So sports participation of women in India, gender inequality is strongly evident in the field of sports. And some of the Olympics, like where no participation of women was there, less opportunities in comparison to their male counterparts. Social environment inhibit women from sports participation. Now more sports women emerging as a role model. So now gradually it is increasing. Indian government introduced National Sports Festival for Women to promote women participation in sports. But this is not sufficient. We have to do a lot of work. Still we have to do a lot of work to increase the participation of women from our country. Then we will see, then like other countries, then we will have also the participation of women will be more in international events. Mary Lilaro, athlete, first woman to represent India at Helsinki Olympic in 1952. Karnam Malleswari, first Indian woman to win a bronze medal at Sydney Olympic 2000. Saina Nehwal, MC Mary Kom, won bronze medal in badminton and boxing. Mary Kom won in boxing and Saina Nehwal in badminton in London Olympic 2012. And Karnam Malleswari in the weightlifting. The reason behind the less participation of the women in India, the reason for less participation, a lot of reasons are there. First one is lack of education and awareness. In country, there is lack of education is the first cause. Now these days the women are getting education. That's why the sports participation is also gradually increasing. Earlier there was the lack of education, especially for the women. The women were, the girl child were not sent to school. They were not getting education due to poverty, lack of security, lack of financial condition. Lot of causes were there, as we see in the history. Then the condition, the women face a lot of problem due to inequality in society. Girl child were not given priorities, and they were not supposed to go out like a boy child can go. So a lot of restrictions were there for women or girl. So lack of education and awareness among the people. First was called. We will discuss in detail. Traditional outlook and views. Traditional outlook, as I was discussing, then there were a lot of restrictions for the women. How they are wearing the clothes, how they are uh, representing themselves in front of society, going out from home, and the work what they are doing. So a traditional outlook and views about the women, male dominant culture of the sports and in society. The society were highly male dominant. Still it is there, but now as the people are getting education, this is people are understanding the value of equality. So the male dominant culture in sports also, because of the preference were given to the male persons in sports activities. There were very less female coaches. Security is another serious matter for, especially for girl child. Lack of female sports person as a role model. Earlier there were very less sports person as a role model, especially female sports person. That's why the females were not being motivated to take part in sports activities. So the causes, various causes are there for the less participation of women in sports. So the reason for less participation of women in sports, next see there, lack of female coaches. Now these days we have increased the number of female coaches also, female role models in sports also. We have a lot of sports celebrities, female sports celebrities, but earlier we were lacking. Still we need more female coaches to increase the participation of women in sports. Lack of personal safety, this was another serious matter for girl child, especially girls or women. So this is due to the society, because the conserve people have conservative mind set. Their conservative thoughts are there. People have inferior thoughts about the women. So that's why the girl child and women are not safe in society. So when the female feel highly secure in society, so definitely they will come forward to participate in sports activities and in any field of life. As it is increased highly comparatively the earlier situation, now the women are coming forward in every field of the life. Everywhere we can see the women are working, and the number of working women, we can see that a lot of women are now these days working. So that is the good, that will increase the participation of women in sports also. People have negative attitude towards women. That's why women or girl child feel unsafe in society. So we have to remove all these obstacles if we want to increase the participation of women in sports. Government is also working in the equality. A lot of amendments are also going on in the law, that the lot of rights are now these days being given to the women, that they can come forward and they can fight for their rights, and they can feel safe in society. So we think gradually, as it is increasing, it will increase more. Lack of interest of spectators and less media coverage was another reason. Still it is there, but now little improvement is there, because less lack of interest of spectators. I think spectators are interested when media is giving importance, media is covering the coverage. Media coverage should be there, either it is the male sports event competition or female sports competition. Male sports competitions, the media coverage is everywhere. In media we can see the sports activities, the male sports competitions. That's why the people are interested to see. People know about the sports, people know about the rules and regulations, people get motivated to take part in sports activities, people try to be the part of the team, people develop interest of being a sports person by watching it in the media, television. Now these days a lot of platforms are there, social media is there. So the lack of interest of spectators was the another cause, because of less media coverage. So the unequal treatment of men and women by the men's and women's sports competitions by the media, that is now improving gradually. So that will also affect the participation of women in the India. And they will get sponsors also. Sometime the media is not covering all those areas where they are not getting the sponsors. So the sponsors should also come forward. The sponsors are there who are spending money to organize the event, and in order to give the advertisement. So we need sponsors also, we need spectators also, and we need media coverage also in female sports competition. Then we can make the females of the India aware about the sports activities. We can develop interest among the females of the India to participate in sports activities according to their ability, according to their will. So this is highly needed. The media coverage, spectators and sponsors for female sports competition is highly needed to increase the sports participation of women from the country. Lack of access to sports facilities. We have very less facilities for the in the sports, for especially for women. Special consideration is needed for women because there is physiologically they are different from the male. So facilities are needed. Sports facilities are needed everywhere, in the block level, in the district level, in each city and at village level. We should, when we will reach, and we can provide facilities, sports facilities especially at the village level or block level, then definitely we will see then participation of women will be increased. So still we are lacking the sports facilities in the country, especially for women. So that is another reason that participation of women is less. So there are so many causes by which the participation of women is affected. Another so many causes, then health consciousness. Then women were earlier low health conscious because of the lack of education. Social customs and rights, lack of incentives and career. Earlier there was very less benefit, less incentives, money and career in the sports field. Now these days government is improving this area also. Very few sports were there where the people have career and a lot of money, but still we see then there is the inequality in female sports, and we see they are getting less incentive. Now these days the government is working on it. Government is giving career opportunities for the sports person also. They are getting high incentives, earning a lot of money by participating in sports activities. So earlier the lack of incentive means money and career in the sports activities. That's why participation of women was very less. And the lack of, that is poverty also, lack of finance, lack of financial facilities. People think that if their girl child or their children are studying, then that is better rather than if they are participating in sports activities. So they don't want to invest the money for purchasing sports equipments, and they don't want to spend money in sports coaching. So various things are there by which the participation of women is affected, and there was less women participation in sports. Lack of sports culture also. The sports culture help to motivate the children to participate in sports activities. So various reasons are there. So we have discussed a lot of reasons. These reasons are behind the lack of participation of women in sports. Still, India is behind other countries. We have to increase the participation of women more and more by working in all these areas, by removing these all obstacles which we have discussed in the regions for less participation of women in sports in India. So gradually we think it will be increased. Then Swami Vivekananda says that it is impossible to recollect about the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is unacceptable for a birdie to fly on only one wing. Swami Vivekananda said this, that this is impossible to recollect about the welfare of the world. The welfare of the world is only possible when the condition of women is improved. It is unacceptable for a birdie, means that is a small bird, to fly on only one wing. She cannot fly in one wing. So this is the Swami Vivekananda's words are there. Then he was a visionary, and that time he said this, that if the condition of women will be improved in any country, that country will grow ahead and the country will go more. And that is the only way of finding the welfare of the world. So in the same topic we are discussing, that women and sports, sport is also a part of the people's life, and since birth we involve in sports activities. Sports activities are very good medium of keeping oneself healthy, as well as if there is career and incentives, so that is more and more better. Along with getting health benefit, we are earning money and name and fame also. So the methods of increasing women participation in sports activities we will discuss in next video.